Good times.
Yeah, and in particular, I'm looking at the guy Okamesh. Now, I wish I could speak Japanese and read what's going on in the chat, aside from the good lucks, which I can figure out myself. But Okamesh is an absolute demon. In the knockout stage, he had 51 kills, which is the highest of any on his team and almost the highest of any players that played in the entire knockouts, including teams like Scars and Northampton, who played way more games than VARYL did. If you look back into the knockout stage, Okamesh continued to be a demon, and I think he holds the record for the most kills in a single map. Andy, do you remember how many he got? Was it 22 and 5?
22 and 5. Yep,
unreal.
that was the one.
He's a machine.
That was indeed the one. But it's about being consistent, yes. And that is why VARYL are in this last chance qualifier, because even though they put up massive games and even though they put up massive numbers, they don't do that every day of the week.
No.
Whereas Northampton, they did do that most days of the week, in fact. And so do Scars. That's why they're down here, and if there's any time to show up in a big game, it's in a big best of one in the last chance qualifier.
Very true. Now, we've seen the operator bans roll on by, and the big one that sticks out to me is the Ying ban. We've seen Donuts VARYL love that Ying. They just absolutely adore anything that gets them in for an explosive execute. The Ying, the Glaz, the Gridlock, the Sens, we've seen it all from them. Unfortunately, the Ying is not going to be present. I really do hope we get to see some Glaz Sens action. At the moment, Fnatic are teasing it out. Of course, we might see some repicks. But I will say, Mandy, full disclosure, I've been playing quite a bit of Glaz in my own games recently.
Well, I know why. I know why. It's because we saw that Glaz Sens thing and you got so excited about that. You were like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
We can
It's
see
amazing.
through the Sens wall. Yeah, wow.
It's so good. And it's not just the fact that Glaz can see through the Sens walls. It's just like crystal clear. It's not like looking through a smoke. You can just see so well through it. And I love it. And even though Fnatic are repicking off it for this round, I've no doubt we'll see it, not from Fnatic, but from VARYL later.
Yeah, for sure. Just a quick note on the bans. The other thing that's a bit tricky about Ying going out is that you don't really have the hard breach charge anymore. Having hard breach charge is important because there's no hit burner, so you can't open as many hatches. So you need other operators with hard breach charge. That's probably why we're seeing Zero. It's probably also why we're seeing Buck without flashbangs and instead with the hard breach charge too, because you need to open up the floor above somehow. Fnatic are going to start their attack out onto Staff Room and Open Area, which is typically a tertiary bomb site for the defenders, but they decided to go to it first in an attempt to try and throw Fnatic off. Top floor clear will be on the cards for them though, Buck in hand of number 2 of course, and they'll want to make use of that vertical gameplay to as much advantage as they can.
I'm worried about potential C4s. Now, Okamesh has actually brought impacts on the can. Rento does have a C4. I wonder if he's just going to be playing that for sight, or if it's for vertical potential on archives up into the CEO. It doesn't look like there's any contest at this top floor for now from VARYL. It's free real estate for Fnatic.
Yep, looking good so far. The problem with giving free real estate off the top floor is that it means that Fnatic will have control of vertical inside a CEO, which then translates into control of tellers and archives, since that's the floor below them, that's the room below them, and that's adjacent to the bomb site. Often a power position for the defenders. So giving up a lot of this control will mean that Donuts VARYL are going to be quite claustrophobic on the bomb site, as that area adjacent to it will be cleared out pretty soon.
It's actually quite quiet. I feel like you can just hear the relaxing noises, the ambience of Mang. Kind of quiet. Listen between the gunshots. Not a lot of early exchanges. It's just very rudimentary clears from Fnatic. As I say that, of course, someone decides to change. And who was that? It was DD. Took down Lily. I don't know where Mag got down to, though. Not a good start from Fnatic.
Not looking too good so far for Fnatic. They've been gifted a lot of real estate in that top floor, but not able to convert any picks, as VARYL has found stuff adjacent to the bomb site. Okamesh is going to go for a little jog in the lobby to try and see if he can catch anyone off guard here, as Mao making his way inside of Tellers as a player. I think it's just around the corner of him, no, unless DD Man is in the floor below.
Hard to see from this angle, isn't it? Fnatic have really stalled
the
out,
floor
though.
below, methinks.
Unlucky. It's going to be really awkward now for Fnatic. 3v5, numbers deficit, not a lot of ways onto that site. Hatches are open, but how are they going to sink their teeth into this bomb site?
Well, it's not looking too good, because even if they want to go through this kitchen double, they've got to worry about the flank coming down from blue.
Oh my god.
Gonna try and isolate that gunfight is number 2, but he gets swung on from DD Man, who was on for 2 in the trot in the round. With only 9 seconds left for Mao, he can collect 1 frag, but not before being traded back by Rento himself, and Varrel with a really nice clean round to open up the series.
What a shame it wasn't flawless, because it certainly felt that way. A quick exit frag for the Yana, but nothing to come of it from Fnatic. Very dominant start, and perhaps a signature? Signal? I don't know where I was going for there. Perhaps a chance to see what is to come. I think that this is going to be a very challenging game for Fnatic.
I think so too. I think what Varrel did just then was like not that ambitious, right? They didn't really hold on to the top floor all that much. They held very much laterally. Oh gosh, am I getting longitude and latitude wrong here? Oh my gosh, I absolutely am.
Lateral was like sideways.
Lateral is sideways, yes. Latitude
Whereas
is platitude.
longitude is up and down. Ooh, is that how you remember it?
Wait, so I've got it right? Oh gosh. Okay, you know what? It's so on. I don't think the point is, I don't think Varrel went for a very ambitious hold here. They didn't go for the top floor control. So it was very much horizontal base. I'm not even going to try anymore. And then even though they gave Fnatic so much room on that top, they couldn't really convert it into anything because of how like chill Varrel were on the bomb site off the back of their 2 picks. So yeah, they didn't have to work very hard for that one, I think.
Good. That's what we like. Just sit, wait patiently, and Fnatic walk into your waiting arms. Now Fnatic will have to attack this top floor bomb site. To me, interesting that Varrel have 2 rounds deep, not even gone to that basement lockers CCTV that everyone loves. Now speaking of love, I absolutely adore that 0 camera from Mag. Is able to take down the mute jammer on those Kanto walls. And so it should be pretty rudimentary now for Ruin to go and open up that Kanto wall. Have a deep line of sight all through that top floor hallway.
I think the trouble that Fnatic are going to face is not actually trying to find room around the bomb site, because once again, Varrel have given them a lot of control. It's going to be about finding room inside the bomb site itself. The mirror setup and the Izami, it's going to be quite challenging to deal with. Now, Fnatic do have a lot of explosives in their hand. They've got Ashe and they've got Zofia. So they can certainly cut down on whatever fortress is made inside of CEO and inside of the lounge room itself. But it's going to take time, and I think if Varrel play it disciplined enough, they shouldn't need to give away their lives here.
Looks like it's actually going to be a bit of vertical take now from Fnatic. They're going below the bomb site to potentially try and clear out these mirror windows, as they have been spotted. No, number 2's just putting a claymore down and backing on out, so not looking to clear those mirrors through vert.
Not a bad idea as well to go lobby-sided take rather than going for square take because of the mirror windows that are facing within CEO. Ideally, instead, you want to be facing towards getting your execute down on the lounge side of the bomb site, right? Especially when you're up against the mirror setup. So I don't mind this from Fnatic. I think they've gone for the right macro play here, and nice flank watch as well established from there. DD Man is able to claw 1 back though, evening out the man count for Varrel as he plays his power position inside of reception.
DD Man is not really too worried here. He's continuing to play his position, but now he starts to feel that pressure. And as I say it, I may well have cursed him. Fnatic begin their onslaught. As number 2 charges up Banana, takes a bit of damage to Carwow. Carwow ends up worse for wear. Now in a spot of bother, dancing around looking for some safe haven to play, but completely under pressure and being approached upon. There's number 2 to find 1 and the double. Big round from Fnatic to reply, and a good first attack in the pocket for them.
That was some really nice teamwork off the back of number 2 and whoever was playing the Capital to be able to flush out the power position inside of reception. Allowed that entry to come through from the spiral stairs. Often when you do a lobby take, the choke point of doing that take is getting a player up the spiral stairs and into Banana safely. That's always a really hard part to get through because often you're in a three-way crossfire once you get there. Sometimes there's a player in elevator, sometimes there's a player inside of meeting with a line of sight, or inside of lobby, inside of lounge themselves, just what we saw there. And so sending your entry up there can often be a death trap, but in tandem with the Capital, Fnatic did a really great job at sending number 2 up there, and he did all the business after that, clearing up the bomb site and playing the entry to perfection.
I'm pretty excited now, Andy. Fnatic, I know it's very early days, but that was a pretty good attack.
Yeah.
And it shows some form of don't know. They've got something here on Bank, perhaps a bit more than we thought. I initially thought that VARYL was going to really run away with this one. I admit, in the analyst segment, I was being a little bit kinder to Fnatic than I would have otherwise been. That was a really good round. And I think if they can continue to find early advantages and then slowly but surely convert them, they'll have a really good shot here on Bank on this attacking side.
Yeah, not just that, but I think it was the right calling as well, right? Like, if they went for a top square push, I don't think they would have found nearly as much success, but making the macro decision, the big picture decision to go for a lobby-sided take and not face the setup and take the path of least resistance, I think is some great calling from Mag as well on the IGLing on the side of Fnatic. Now we're going to go down to this basement defense instead, and they're going to try and get this garage control early with a pre-placed drone that has already seen Akayu? Oh, how have we decided we're saying this? We're saying Akayu, right?
Caillou or Akayu,
okay.
if you're feeling extra spicy.
Well, that is extra spicy. Caillou has been spotted out in garage, and so unfortunately Fnatic can't take that control early and are going to look to sweep the map instead. Number 2, the first point of entry, as always, with the buck in hand, can start to make his way in, but Kawa's going to be pretty aware by the time he hits that janitor hallway.
Oh, I'm really keen. We could see a C4. Nothing
2
as of
C4s,
yet.
in fact.
Yeah. You can see Carwell still using that cardiac sensor to get some information. But number 2's found some information of his own here in server and spotted out that player. Still up on the clear for Fnatic. There's a lot of map to take and not a lot of time to do it.
And once again, only 2 hard breach charges on the side of number 2, so you can only get open 2 hatches. Unless Ace decides to dedicate one to him. So there's going to be a lot of mid-round decision-making that Fnatic are going to have to go through. But hang on a moment, lobby control is on the cards for Lily as he's able to clean up one, but not before being traded back by Okamesh, who's found himself inside of the elevated position. But look at the control that Fnatic have been able to get. They've gone all the way down to the bottom of square, and they haven't even cleared out open yet.
Number 2's got a lot of work ahead of him. Re-clearing this area, retaking ground for Fnatic. It's just so slow, isn't it, man? I mean, if this eventually comes down to a server-sided execute, I just don't see it working for Fnatic. It's going to have to be extra explosive. There's so much Plantinal still on the cards. Less than a minute remaining for Fnatic.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Those smoke babes and Goyo canisters and 2 C4s are going to waste a whole lot of time once that execute comes through. I think the win condition here for Fnatic is probably not to get the bomb down. They haven't even gotten server control. This would indicate to me they pretty much have got to go for a flood. They've got to look for kills in desperation as the final 30 seconds of the round start to tick by.
Yeah, so much work ahead of them. There's no second chances here. It's going to be a one-and-done drop play for Fnatic. They have to flood, as you said. Have to go for broke, as Renzo is just quickly popping the last of his Plantinal and Ariadnal that he has available and gassing out all of the positions that Fnatic could possibly come from. Let's see what you got, Fnatic. Drop these hatches and see what you can muster. 5 seconds to go. Okamesh starts it. Somehow there is a plant going down for Fnatic. And Mag has done some amazing work covering here. Not able to find another one, however. It's all up to Okamesh. Out of nowhere, Fnatic somehow are able to get that plant down. And Okamesh has the world ahead of him. Starting off, he's going to have to take this 1v1, but Mao is watching and ready to receive. I'm gobsmacked. I had never expected Fnatic to be able to make that work.
Yeah, that was actually really impressive for Fnatic to be able to convert that round, what seemed like a lost round. They didn't actually have any control that they needed to be able to get into the bomb site, but I think what was really the thread, the needle through the haystack was Rirun, who was able to get that bomb down by going through server and getting into the bomb site all on his own. He found a blind spot through those Goyo canisters, and the smoke babes didn't sink either onto his position. He just found a really peculiar spot to get the plant down as the flood came through at the same time. Cover on the hatch was really good too, and I think for Fnatic, somehow they are able to convert that round off the back of some really cheeky plays.
I wonder if they're going to be able to pull out more crazy stuff like that, Andy, because Fnatic... No, I usually think of them as the team that is very thorough, has quite a methodical style of siege, measure twice, cut once kind of methodology. The identifying what the setup is and looking for an opportunity, but not an aggressive opportunity, typically like a... No, I think of them as like an old style of siege. Like they still seem to play like the old Fnatic did. Like the Australian Fnatic did. You know, they look for that old school style of siege rather than this hyper aggressive Japanese style that we are more accustomed with here in this region. And I thought that that would suffer if they're in a position like they were last round, where the time is ticking and there's so much denial up. Yet they somehow snuck through.
If they can keep surprising us like this, we're going to look real silly on the desk when we come back. We were all VARYL, we were all Team Okamesh, and Fnatic are actually showing us some really impressive stuff, both from the macro decision making all the way down to the small plays that are able to close out rounds just like that one, you know? You're never going to be able to get a round like that off if you don't have 2 or 3 plays that just have a really good entry on side or have a really great micro gameplay, you know, to try and get some heroic stuff going. So for Fnatic, I think it's showing a lot of promise so far in this series, which is only a best of 1. We're all going to have to be a little bit more careful.
Once again, the start of the action phase is very much drone mode for Fnatic. Very thorough, figuring out where these players are. Mag spots out Legion aggressive intellers. As the rest of Fnatic seem to mostly be focusing on this top floor, there is a bit of presence here from the attacking side. A lot of rotations. We saw set up at the prep phase. Caillou as well. Janitor just able to escape before Maru is able to spot him. And Fnatic have been afforded quite a bit of ground here.
Ooh, Onkamesh taking him very low as well on the bomb site, not on the bomb site, sorry, inside of that Teller's position. I like what Fnatic are doing. They're going for a pretty achievable take, I think. They're not going to clear out all the top floor and then all of bottom square and then go into the bomb site. They're going to get the top floor because it's a bit necessary if they want to get Teller's control, which is what they've done through lobby. And then from there, if they wanted to, they could easily convert into a hatch drop, or if they find a success from inside of square, then they can get that square wall open too. So I think Fnatic have created a lot of room for themselves in the way that they've gone about this early game, the way that they've pathed their entry. And it's really left VARYL a little claustrophobic and stuck around the bomb site.
I haven't been able to find any of these players as of yet though, but there you go. As I say that, Lily, moving in through the elevator hallway, is able to finally take down Okamesh. Finally, the information gathering from Fnatic nets a kill. Are they able to convert this man advantage?
Yeah, and that's exactly the success of the entry pathing of Fnatic going into play right there. By having the bomb sites so surrounded and suffocated, you can't enable players like Okamesh to be able to retake small places that are adjacent to the bomb site like that. But now with 20 seconds left to go, Fnatic have got to convert themselves into an execute and a hatch drop will be on the cards.
Gonna have to be a jump in surely from number 2 as Renzo's found a double and still survives here on site. Carl out to take down Mag. It's all falling apart as number 2 does eventually jump inside. With a lot of work ahead of him, he's not going to find anything for it. Not able to pick up that diffuser, not able to find the last 2 players from VARYL. Nice shot on the C4 though, that was quite something, but VARYL do tie up the scoreline here, 2 rounds apiece.
Yeah, number 2's actually so sharp today. Sorry, side note, completely unrelated to the round, what just happened, but number 2 is so sharp today. Anyway, Fnatic, they do a really great job at setting themselves up for success in the early round, collecting the first pick, and through the mid-round, establishing themselves. But when push came to shove, they didn't have the utility to actually make the hatch drop work. For example, we didn't see any smokes, we didn't see any flashbangs, there was no things like sends or whatever, you know, even not even nades to follow through off the back of the vertical that they made. They couldn't send anything through the bars of the floor to at least try and, you know, push a VARYL player out of position. It's always going to be hard to make a hatch drop execute work if you don't have utility to supplement it, so they couldn't quite convert the late round and VARYL hold their ground.
Well, now VARYL are going to go back downstairs. We've seen this before and Fnatic won it, and so VARYL are completely changing their strategy. Have a look at those operators. You've got your Castle, you've got your Oryx, your Legion. This is a very roam-heavy strategy with still an element of plant denial and rush counter, with the Echo and the Legion, sorry, with the Echo and the Smoke. But I do wonder what Fnatic will do about it. Will they look to clear this map, which will no doubt take a very long time, or will this be more of an aggressive, put pressure on server kind of play?
I actually kind of like this for VARYL. I think the thing about the big site denial setup where you've got the Go, the Smoke, and the C4s and everything, it's all fine and dandy, but it takes a lot of finesse to be able to coordinate you actually throwing that utility. And then, you know, actually sinking it as well, like we saw in that last round, all that Ruin had to do was find one blind spot in the bomb site to all of that utility to get it down. So one smoke babe that actually sinks is going to be way better than like 4 go canisters in the bomb site that they can't detonate anyway, right? So I like what VARYL have gone for to put a little bit more pressure in the mid round instead, because they've often been giving Fnatic a lot of room to work with.
I quite like the setup that VARYL had for Garage as well. Castle's bulletproof camera was just placed on the ground, so
Yeah,
it's
it's cool.
underneath all the vans. And as soon as Lily got on his drone, it was immediately shot by the EMP from that bulletproof camera. So VARYL are very aware of that potential pressure. And now Lily is actually going to push it anyway. That bulletproof camera going to be taken down by that Gon 6. And Lily trying to take Garage now. One smoke grenade left.
Oh, 4 players inside a lobby would indicate to me that they're going to go for a front-sided take of the map. They've spotted that player out in elevator, and we'll have to clear him out though if they want to get these hatches open safely. Not only that, but there's even presence inside of Tellers as well. Yellow ping to go out will surely connect a kill for number 2, who's been sharp as ever in this series. Nice headshot on DD man. He's going to hot drop the hatch.
Indeed, he does. Number 2 goes straight on down into Vault. Spots out the player in gold, who's very aware of his position. Maui looking to go aggressively forward as Lily pinches in from Garage. Number 2's found a second. Maui does find out that player in red. It's all falling to pieces now for VARYL as the roamers will have to try and recompose. Kawau, his flank being watched, and the beepers to go off. He's managed to sneak down and take down Ruin, so this cover is just not good enough from Mag upstairs. Kawau, though, stuck in a really rough position, though, and the last man standing he is able to take down Mag. There should be a potential for a plant, but where has that diffuser gotten itself to? Kawau surely not able to isolate these 1v1s. It would be devastating as he is spotted on the cross, but pinched on out once again. Lily round in the corner looking to find him. This is so awkward, but Kawau somehow makes it work for one. Fortunately for Fnatic, they can recompose and deny the clutch. And that got far too close for comfort.
Oh god, I was clutching onto my chest at the end there. I thought, no, Fnatic, don't give away this one. The idea was so cool that they did to go through lobby and make a rush happen really off-tempo through the mid-round, catching VARYL off guard there. I think VARYL really expected Fnatic to go for that roam clear as characteristic to their playstyle, nice and slow and methodical, like you've been speaking about this entire time. But it really shows a lot of prowess for Fnatic to be able to change the tempo like that and go for something unexpected and unpredictable. Dropping through that hatch I thought was a really fantastic idea into the roam. It means that you don't actually have to do the roam clear. It also means that the site is left a lot more vulnerable because there are less anchors on the bomb site. So trying to punish the setup that VARYL had made for them through the map by going for that rush was a really good idea, up until the fact that Carl was able to make a flank work and it turned into a 1 versus 1. But thankfully, at least they can claim that round.
Yeah, I really love the idea there from Fnatic. I hope we get to see a lot more of that. That aggressive, like, look for an opportunity and then take it kind of play style, the playmaking. The thing with Fnatic is they always do it as a team, don't they? They always commit to it together. We're actually going to see what appears to be, is this the same defensive setup, more or less, from the defense? Yeah, just, I mean, you've got the Goyo, but everything else looks pretty much the same.
I think so as well. Honestly, I reckon Okamesh has just gone, I like the Vector. Yeah. I don't really think there's any more thought to it, to be honest. Like, I really don't think that they're leaning into this Goyo because it's actually Goyo, to be honest. I think they're still looking for the roam that they were before, and Okamesh just likes things that shoot fast. Anyway, Fnatic are actually going to try and roam clear this. They've got this big long line of sight onto the fall-off route through that hatch. Almost able to collect the kill onto Kawa, but takes a little bit of damage himself. Fnatic doing a good job so far to get an in on the map and make these roamers worry.
I'd be worried if I was VARYL, constantly concerned not only about this roam clear, but perhaps it's a bait. You know, maybe Fnatic are once again looking for garage control, looking for an aggressive play. We've seen it from them before. Who's to say we won't see it again?
Alright, Alchemist is just taking down 2 drones in that top floor, so would be calling out to his team right about now. They are certainly going to sweep the map. Fnatic taking a lot more time in this round compared to the previous round, which felt like it was over in seconds, as they are looking for a much more ambitious clear down into the basement. Lily with DMR in hand can start to clean up that top floor as Okamesh has completely fallen off to the safety of his teammates. The only thing they have to worry about now is the setup inside of open, and I think there's not that many defenders left here on this floor.
Especially once this wall gets breached. Yeah, is there anyone?
I think there's one in kitchen.
And might have a rotate into admin as well. Mag's got to be really careful here because Karao is just around that corner. Can delay as much time as possible. Cut off quite a bit here. And the wall bang is just perfect there from Mao. Eventually does take him down. I love the fact that it was with a suppressor as well. No traces. Much easier to go for those wall bangs without the defenders being aware of it. VARYL being punished very early.
I think you really called it there. The moment that Mag was able to open up that wall going to box office, it cut off Kawa from getting into his fall-off route down the hatch again, right? So he was stuck there playing for his life. In fact, I think they actually reared off the hatch. So Kawa, I think, was stuck there to play for his life anyway. And as a result, Fnatic are up in the man advantage, but not doing too great for time. With only 44 seconds left to go, 2 Yokais, 3 Smoke Babes, and a C4 in the hands of Okamesh, it's going to have to be a pretty good flood from Fnatic. A replicated one off that first round to clean up and convert the round.
We have seen this from them before though, Mandy. They've made these last-minute pushes work. They had man advantage and the drones ever so diligent, even when that timer falls on down. As these players fall on down the hatch, they're met with a shield. I don't know if there's a Gun 6 in pocket for number 2. He doesn't need it. He just takes the player's head clean off. And it's all up to Rento in a 1 versus 5. Not a lot of time on the clock here. They start to spot him. They start to hunt him down. Is that diffuser going to start to get planted? It is from Maroon. And so Fnatic peel back. They don't need to feed. And Lily is able to get a nice flick here onto Renzo to lock in that round for Fnatic and lock in the half at a 4-2 scoreline.
Yeah, once again, Fnatic showing that they can go for these flood executes if they so wish to, with the time ticking away. Not only did they make that work once, but twice, and in very different fashion as well. They were able to make it work on the bomb site instead. I think they've just shown, honestly, a lot of prowess in the strat book, especially the attack strat book for Fnatic. They were able to go for so much there. They showed us so many different things, both slower plays and faster plays. Even with the slower plays they did different types of executes as well, and are able to take different kinds of control on the map and set themselves up in various ways. It just felt like Fnatic had a lot to show there on their attack.
Yeah, I'm really scared now for VARYL. Mandy, I think we're going to look pretty silly. This is a very good start from Fnatic, and even if this ends up being an attacker-sided bank, I'm very optimistic by the nature of how those rounds played out. Fnatic are looking very good. They're looking much more composed than we've seen them in the past. We're seeing that they're not overthinking things, they're thinking just the right amount. And they've really started to punish these setups from VARYL, but I think they really get tested now once they have to deal with these ultra-aggressive and crazy unpredictable attacks that VARYL bring to them.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really impressed by Fnatic in this series. I think, like, we're very unimpressed with them through the entire stage, right? They couldn't claim up a win at all. But the Fnatic that we're seeing today has some really great strategic calling. I think just overall, they're making these really good macro choices. And for VARYL, like you said, when they get onto their attack off, I think it's going to be them leaning into their identity of being this off-tempo kind of team. Rento picking onto the Amaro would indicate to me that they are trying to do exactly that. To hard breach charges in hand as well to get open the mid-floor when they can.
A lot of face checking going on here for VARYL, which does concern me a bit. The Solus being up for Fnatic means that drone game is a lot more difficult. The fact that we're no drones ahead of Renzo may have lulled Mau into a false sense of security. He almost loses his life for it.
Scary times though. Actually pre-placed at the top of the main stairs probably did enable Rento to make his way all the way into that main stairs position. Now they can start to make their work onto the ground floor. 4 players on drones would indicate to me that they are looking for that setup. They're looking to set up into the execute, right? We're getting drones through the mid floor, making sure there's no one here roaming. We can even get one inside the bomb site nice and early too, since Fnatic have given them a lot of space.
Still a lot of face checking going on. Okamesh hasn't cleared out Teller's archives. He's just checking it with his rifle up. And again, quite a quiet and slow mid-round here as VARYL continue to just put pressure on. The roam has been cleared and good time has been made. Now the admin hatch going to be opened to that A-bomb site. And a lot of opportunities now for VARYL as they must now choose where their push will come.
Well, this is ambitious. Coming down the main stairs for Rento is not the easiest gunfight to take. The line of sight on the other side is quite defender favored, and for VARYL with a minute ticking down, I wonder where they're going to use that Ossa, right? Like they haven't taken garage control with it. They've only just gotten themselves into server, which is where Kawa is at the moment. The wall is actually soft, so they could try and go for a plant here if they wanted to, but with only 50 seconds left and Mag feeding the information, it doesn't seem like the smartest idea, to be honest.
Yeah, and here comes the Vulcan canisters detonating, draining time. Number 2 to send out another gas babe. Just considering it. Oh, here comes the execute though. Kawu has managed to get himself into elevator, and the opening pick is actually the smoke. That's not the player you want going down and execute like this. Kawu's taken out Mag. It's all fallen to pieces for Fnatic. Lily's taken out as well. Rurin stuck inside a vault. Has to 1 versus 5 now with the Vector. And Kawu's going to spot him before he can do so. A flawless round to kick off the attacking half is exactly what the doctor ordered for VARYL.
That was actually such a cool execute, Deb. I don't know if you noticed, but that was actually a bluff execute. They had all the utility going down on the lobby side push through the hatches, but it was actually Kawa on the buck that had the diffuser, and he planted it inside a server. So while all the defenders had their line of sight trained to the complete wrong side of the map, all the way in lobby, the bomb was going down on the opposite bomb site. So really nice stuff from VARYL, pulling out something quite unexpected there to catch Fnatic off guard through the late rounds. And I think, honestly, that was just fantastic. That was a really interesting execute.
Really strange. I mean, who puts an Osa inside of elevator, right? She drops elevator, and she's just playing that by herself.
That's it. It's literally nothing else for that push, other than just, hey, look at me, I'm Osa. Like, wow, that was really cool.
And whenever you see like an Osa or a Glaz or a Ying, or a Shield, like everyone's always like, that's the center of the push, right? Like, that is the guy. And in fact, he was not the guy, it was the other guy. It was over on server side, like you said, into CCTV. Very sneaky deaky like from VARYL.
I can't believe we didn't notice that. Like, surely at some point, because Caillou was carrying the diffuser through the whole round, so at some point, Caillou had to give the diffuser over to Kawa. Wow, very confusing. And actually call for that play to work. So I can't believe we didn't notice that when it came down. I was so wondering the entire time, where on earth are they going to use that Ossa, and what on earth are you going for? And then the moment that happened, I went, you know, like, imagine if we were as confused like that. How Fnatic meant to know what was going to happen there?
You know what's funny is there's no way Fnatic would have known what happened. Even after the round was over, they'd be like, where did they plant? Like, where did they push you guys from? You know, that little quick post-round debrief where everyone is just confused and you're like, all right, forget about it. We'll VOD review it later. But now, let's change site. Let's try something different.
I think so. I think certainly when you can't break down what went wrong in the previous round, you don't want to repeat it, right? You want to try something that is a bit more of a known quantity. So I think going over to this staff room and open bomb site is a good idea. Now, VARYL have brought along the fuse, which I think is a bit scary times to me. You can put the fuse charge on the ground and clear out a lot of things on the bomb site inside of staff room. So we'll see how much use VARYL can make of this operator.
This mute's delivering a lot of value to Fnatic, denying these drones, but Okamesh has still managed to sneak into Tellers, spot out some rotation holes. He does lose it, but it was worth it. Now he's going to start moving in, putting some pressure here on the lobby side. As the rest of VARYL seem to have shaped up above. On 6 to open up the hatch onto site, and the secondary high breach charge. Isn't Zero just such a util monster? I love that. Great use there from Kawa, getting the most out of his toolkit.
Good thing so for VARYL. A lot of presence in the top floor given to them means that they have lots of options coming into this, coming into the execute phase. Now, the main problem that they have here is they don't have a whole lot of vertical pressure. So getting their way inside of archives and tellers would usually be quite difficult, but Okamesh, with the amount of pressure that he's put here, has actually forced a lot of the VARYL players to fall back onto the bomb site. Here's the fuse that we alluded to earlier in the round, able to clear out a lot of stuff just below the hatch as they can prepare for the execute.
Still quite difficult now for VARYL to flush out these players on site. They flush the players out of archives and back onto the site. How are they going to crack into site? Looks like Okamesh is just going to walk straight on in through admin. Kawau finds one as well, traded on back as the breach starts to come on, and Caillou has been taken out as well. Rurin doing a lot of work here and taking another one down as well. Last man standing, low HP. But if he has the time, he could stim himself up. DD's not going to give him the chance. Another incredibly confusing attack there from VARYL. How on earth are Fnatic meant to respond to that?
Yeah, really tough. VARYL once again looking for the execute where they literally execute in every single part of the map that you possibly can. They didn't just dedicate themselves to a hatch drop, but they made sure they had the entries at the same time going in through towers, and then also at the same time through bot square, and then also at the same time when they can get someone looking through the printer window. It's just VARYL are everywhere. As it comes to that late round, because Fnatic had given them so much room through the map. There was no one on the basement floor to try and flank the VARYL players, for example. All of them were stuck on the bomb site from the mid to late round as they've fallen off. So VARYL doing a really great job at suffocating out the defense and closing out yet another really surprising attack.
Almost as dominant as the previous one as well, Mandy. Now VARYL have tied the scoreline, and the lead that Fnatic managed to gain for themselves in that first half has been nullified. And a lot of my confidence in them as well. Now, I don't just want to be a seesaw swinging back and forth depending on who's winning the rounds, but it's hard to continue to have faith in Fnatic when we haven't yet seen a successful defense from them.
I think the thing about defending versus attacking is that it's a lot harder to have leadership and macro decision making on the defense compared to the attack, right? Like on the defense, you need to set up the problem yourself, and so there's not a lot of like, oh, this is what the problem is, so let's solve it this way, right? You actually have to create the problem in the first place, and I think that against a team like VARYL, where they're so unpredictable, that's where they find their identity is in the way that they attack. It's so hard to create a suitable problem, right? That's like a backwards way of thinking compared to the attack, right? So I think Fnatic, with like their strength in making good macro choices, are going to find that a lot more challenging on the defense.
Bit of a lurking coming for DD here. Managed to sneak past the camera as it was on. He's going to shoot it now, so that will give some information to Fnatic.
Vertical nades, 2 sets of them, right? For DD Man and for Okamesh as well, if they want to get this ground floor control, which is exactly what they've done. It's actually been given to them. No roamers for Fnatic down here. They can certainly start to make use of it. Not only that, but it's going to be aided by the Zero as well, who can send some SAM cams up into the site or into the windows and see what the anchor power positions might be. I think a big one for me is going to be like that janitor position, right? There's almost certainly going to be someone there. There's almost certainly going to be someone inside of meeting, and both those places can be vertical grenaded.
DD Man once again sneaking around. He hasn't actually used any of those vertical nades as of yet. Strangely, he seems a bit indecisive, not sure what he's going to do. As he moves back into position to prepare for some vertical nades, but there seems to be no information to guide them, so they won't find anything. A well-placed nade, but no information on a player.
Well, it's a red ping.
He does have a red ping on that player in Janitor. Here comes some nades, but that's just to clear out some util. There's still a lot left wanting here for VARYL.
Yeah, DD Man is actually able to sink that nade. We just saw him throw it, take number 2 down to a slither of HP. Rento as well, able to claim 1 onto Rurin, but not before Mag can trade it back. A second, in fact, LMG in hand as he swung in through that CEO double window, but is starting to be taken down by the defense.
Rento has done a great job here on this rappel. A Fnatic are low on numbers, they're low on time, and there's a massive opportunity here for VARYL to once again run away with an attack. Nothing that Fnatic could do to repel that one. VARYL are dominant here on their attacking side. 3 rounds on the trot, and all of them with extreme comfort. They have well and truly made a comeback here.
Yeah, VARYL really leaning into their identity as an attacking team and finding these off timings to catch Fnatic off guard. They always seem to go for an execute at the strangest points in the round and in the strangest fashion as well. And Fnatic just don't seem to be able to keep up with it. They can't keep track of where all the players are. All that was Rento actually just swinging in through that chamber, a double door sort of room. I don't really know what you call it in your stack, Dev, but that is what I call it in my stack. Or even just being able to peek in from CEO, just wherever VARYL can get themselves into, they want to collapse upon that opportunity. And it doesn't matter what time in the round it is, as long as it's there. And that's really their identity as a team. It's what led them to so much success and topping their group.
Yeah. Well, they really have flipped the momentum back on their side as well, haven't they? It's been a very difficult run now for Fnatic. That's what, 3 rounds in a row for VARYL. Fnatic taking this tactical pause to discuss what are they going to do. They've tried 3 different bomb sites and had just about as much success on each of them. What is the next move? Do they go back down to the basement, old and faithful, where they were flawlessly attacked? it looks like that is indeed what they're going to do here, Mandy. I'm scared for them. They really need to get something right now because VARYL is just 2 rounds away from eliminating Fnatic from the major contention.
Me too. I'm liking the idea to go into Azami here, to be honest, and tap Melusi on your lineup for Fnatic. I think that the thing against VARYL is that you can't really set up, make a preemptive setup, right? Because VARYL kind of just attack everywhere. So what you want to do is make a mid-round adaptation to them, right? You want to then see what you think VARYL is doing through the mid-round as it comes through, and then just like prepare for everything and prepare for the worst and make a setup on the spot. And I think that's what the Azami is really going to enable here. Not only that, but having a Goyo canister, one of them everywhere, I think, just like one on each point of entry is also not a bad idea for Mao too. I think Fnatic are kind of preparing for everything in their concept of the defense that they have here, and I think it's a good idea.
Well, no second chances now for Fnatic. Got to make a big run here.
Oh, here we go.
But Akayu is not going to make it easy for them. Have a look at that operator lineup. It doesn't get much more intimidating than that. You've got your Glaz, your Blitz, your Amaru, your Lion, your Dokkaebi. This is going to be a rush.
Absolutely. Garage control seems to be on the cards. A pre-placed drone inside a garage for Okamesh is going to spot one player there on the ramp, and, well, that's all there is to it. Oh, and the Lucy hasn't even seen them. Ruin. About to be in a world of pain.
This is not going to be easy now. As the smoke goes on out, the Glaz to peek it and the Blitz to send it on through. The Lion as well to lock that defender in place for just a moment. Oh, spotting the player. Just a second, Ruin would have heard the Glaz's rifle and know that it is indeed a player peeking through that smoke. The spray to go down. Mag elsewhere does find Renzo. The Amaru taken down as he tried to drop through that vault hatch, but still this engagement in Garage is causing some trouble now for VARYL, as Ruin has completely fallen back and forfeited that ground.
Yeah, good things from Fnatic there. They were kind of ready for everything, like we alluded to earlier, even though there was so much control being put down in the Garage side, as we are on board here with Okamesh, just rounding this corner in his own smoke. Mag was, in fact, ready for literally any other entry that can come through. Now, hang on a moment. I think Kawa is in the bomb site.
Yep. What's he going to do here? There's a great cut from the Glaz in Garage, completely isolating these players from entering the red hallway, but Ruin does take him down, immediately traded there from Kawa. Another Blitz has to spring into action, and there's got to be a plan opportunity here. Akayu doesn't check his corner and gets punished for it. But the Lion does roar, and once again, oh no, that's Diffuser! The Diffuser's taken down, and number 2's come on for the flank, Mandy. It couldn't have gone much worse for VARYL here. A 1v2 now for DD Man, who's got himself deep into sight. Gonna have to isolate these 1v1s, a minute to play with.
Okay, you say he has to isolate the 1v1s, and the 1v1s are actually quite isolated. They are literally on opposite sides of the bomb site, and this smoke is actually smoking him out from being between them at the moment. So if DD Man wants to identify that these are isolated fights, he could totally win. It's winnable, this 1v1. That's all I'm saying. Winnable.
What has Lily cooked up with the Azami? Couple of neat angles. DD Man has to check everything, has to be ultra skeptical. Doesn't seem to be clued in whatsoever. A spray. Lily is so patient and can take him down as he rounds the corner. A great round from Fnatic, going up against what is one of the most difficult styles of attacks to repel, and yet they do it justice. They finally get a defense win under their belt. They have once again tied us at breakpoint, 5 rounds apiece.
I think we really saw the impact of the Azami pick there in that round too. Lily had a really good job there. He played the positioning to perfection off the back of the Azami barricades. And like we said earlier, for VARYL, you kind of have to be prepared for everything and anything, because that's what VARYL will do. So as soon as Lily realized the situation, okay, the bomb is on the ground, the diffuser is literally right in front of my eyes, I'm going to play around that instead. And he created his own fortress with those Azami barricades to play that power position to himself and play the positioning just to perfection. First against the Blitz, where he realized he didn't want to take that 1 versus 1 and waited for Mag to come and help him. But then also right at the end there, not actually holding a deep, long line of sight onto where DD Man might have been, letting him take that space and be confused by the Azami setup that was there, and then taking the 1v1 afterwards. Really good idea.
What do we reckon, Mandy? We've now seen, finally, a successful defense from Fnatic, and one more gives them match point. Map point is kind of redundant at this rate, because it's a BO1, right? And there's such massive repercussions of losing this game. It's hard to imagine Fnatic taking down VARYL, knocking them out of the last chance qualifiers. But it's very doable here, just one defense round away.
It's certainly within the realm of possibility. This has been a really exciting game to watch, Dev. It really has been. I think Fnatic have shown us the best version of Fnatic that we've seen the entire stage. It's really exciting to watch them make these really good decisions and have some great individual play as well, like we saw from Lily there. But then at the same time, VARYL of VARYL. And it's so exciting to watch their attacking play style and try and keep up with it.
Well, they have one last chance to try and deliver this attacking playstyle. Diddy Man on the nook once again, looking for a bit of a lurk. Once again, a lot of capacity for vertical nades here on both Diddy Man and Okamesh. Have been big players historically for this team, but as you said in the pre-show, Mandy, while Okamesh has been incredibly deadly and had some outstanding games, he lacks a bit of consistency that we've seen from some of the top echelon of Japan. That's why he's going 6-9 at the moment. Actually a negative KD on the guy that we hyped up for going 22-5 previously in the season.
Yeah, VARYL trying to break down this setup as well, and like you said, Okamesh always seems to be the player injecting himself inside of lobby and looking for the cutoffs, but hasn't quite found success yet. He's just getting on and off his drone right now to see if he can eventually sneak his way in, but it's quite hard with Lily in his position here as well. Right, one of the windows open, we'll see all the way down into ATM, so Okamesh has made his way in and trying to send out a nade to clear that position, I believe it is. And DD Man looking for the pinch at the top main stairs. This is a nice clear from VARYL.
Okamesh all the way in E1 now with that suppressor. I don't think anyone should be aware of his position. Same can be said for Diddy Man. He snuck all the way up the main stairs to take down Rurin. Couple of awkward positions now for the Fnatic players, but Mawu is so lucky to have been saved by what seems to be an impenetrable little flake of cardboard, I guess, covering his backside. Very lucky for him and lucky for Fnatic to stay in the game.
It's like that meme where, like, you know when you turn the table sideways in like a movie and it suddenly becomes bulletproof? Anyway, 35 seconds left, and really VARYL haven't done like a whole lot of work to get control of the map, but they have done something to collect some kills. 3-on-3 now as Lily's able to claim one back onto Kawa, but Rento has a way into the bomb site.
And Lily's gone all the way outside, so he should be pretty well cut off if the rest of VARYL can make this execute work. Rather, there's a player close, and number 2 does find one, but is traded on back. It's all up to Lily, having gone for a jog, jumped out the windows upstairs, and trying to get a match point for Fnatic. Akayu to try and get that diffuser planted with Rento to cover. Rento goes down, Akayu to spring up and take down Lily, finding match point for VARYL.
Nice work there for VARYL to convert it in the late round off the back of the picks that they were able to find early on with that Nook. Yeah, really nice conversion there. Fnatic looked a little bit lost on the bomb site as the execute came through. They couldn't quite read where that diffuser was walking in. It was actually Caillou who had it in hand and decided to hop in through the printer window. The last dying seconds of the round. Not your usual point of entry. Really, really, really unusual going into open area, especially with those footsie holes on the ground to try and deny that from being a safe haven for the attackers. It was a really unpredictable and unexpected play to be able to close out a very unique execute.
Yeah, but a critical round for sure. Fnatic have been taking some risks. We saw that round with Lily jumping out the CEO windows in what was, I think it was a 4v4 or 3v4. Just isolated him from the rest of his team. VARYL, the pace has really aided them in those tight moments where there's a chance for a Fnatic player to get back in the fight. They just take the fight to the remaining defenders on site. And now Fnatic have no second chances for real this time. I said that when it was looking like it could be a match point against them. Well, now it is that match point indeed. And so they need to force OT here, otherwise say goodbye to their chances. We're going to Copenhagen for the first ever Blast Major.
This is really exciting stuff for VARYL though. Match point, series point, and perhaps progression points in their run for the Copenhagen Major now. Fnatic choosing to go back to this staff room and open area bomb site. They've completely changed their philosophy though, Dev. They have brought along the Oryx, so we've got Capcan, we've got Mute making lots of rotation holes through the map, so it would indicate to me that Fnatic are trying to hold on for a lot longer adjacent to the bomb site rather than being stuck and lost on the bomb site itself. They want to take the fight to VARYL as it comes. Okamesh has decided to go onto the Amari, which is quite exciting. We'll see where he decides to jump in on.
You always got to be cautious about these VARYL lurkers. We saw the previous round open up by DD Man on the knock. I like that Fnatic are starting to read into this play. They're barricading these positions, making it very awkward for Okamesh, but there is a hatch or two you might be able to find.
Ooh, double lurk. Double lurk in the basement. And Amaru as well, but not Diffuser. I wonder what VARYL are going to go for here. There aren't that many players on the site. In fact, I think there's no players on the bomb sites. If they want to go, it is go time!
Okamesh has found it! He's taken the opportunity with both hands and taken both kills of the anchors from Fnatic on site. 5v2 for VARYL as Lily and Ruin must spring into action. There's a hatch of Ruin's own. He could come up and assist with the bomb site, but feels like a far cry now. Rento taken down. The first step of many for Lily now, as it's a 1v5 becoming a 1v3. So it have to be a massive clutch. But I think VARYL might have this in the bag. Okamesh has actually got his gadget out. He did for just a moment. I think he's gone back upstairs now as the stuns go over. Lily once again with an opportunity to peek, with a chance to look for something. But the air jab locks him out. There's absolutely no chance. Okamesh is straight up trolling. And VARYL are going to do it. They're going to knock Fnatic out of the last chance qualifiers and continue their campaign towards the major.
And y'all at home, if you've never seen VARYL, welcome to Japan League. They close it out in true VARYL fashion, finding an offbeat execute once again, aided by that Amaru to get into the bomb site, clean up 2. That's just the Okamesh way.